3 straight losses for the Commanders. The first 2 were excusable. The Ravens and Steelers are very good. The Cowboys aren't. Washington has looked its worst the past 2 weeks. Dallas is the cherry on top of the panic. The Jayden Daniels rookie pop has ended. Cliff Kingsbury is having yet another late season fall apart. There are still reasons to be optimistic. I don't think it takes anything away from the future. Jayden is the guy. I believe in Dan Quinn. There are a lot of holes that can be fixed during the offseason. Having a ton of cap space will help a ton, but for now, there is concern. Thank you to DraftKings for sponsoring this. Grab a jersey and some snacks and head over to the couch for another Sunday full of action-packed football. And you can get even closer into the action with our partners over at DraftKings. Right now, all new DraftKings customers who bet $5 can get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Just download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use our code JDPROD. That's right, new customers get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins, just betting $5. And don't forget to stay in on the action and use your $150 in bonus bets on DraftKings parlays, where you can combine multiple bets for an even bigger payout. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy and have a shot to win big cash prizes. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use our code JDPROD and bet $5 on any wager and get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. That's promo code JDPROD only at DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. The Commanders started so hot, at least after a week 1 loss to the Buccaneers. The offense went on a ridiculous tear, and Jayden put up great numbers. It was truly one of the best stretches for any team I root for I have ever experienced. It was so amazing, and I'm still confident in the future, but that was an incredible week 3 stretch. No, I don't count the week 2 win against the Giants. That was ugly, and Washington couldn't score in the red zone. From week 3 to week 5, the Commanders were unstoppable and probably the biggest story in the league. It's been a season to forget for the Bengals, but even at 0-2, they were supposed to turn it around and at least beat Washington. Instead, it was a coming out party for Jayden Daniels, and I felt it. I don't know why, but I could feel it. I said it before the game, and damn, I called it. The Commanders' offense rolled. And the play that will always stick out is the late Jayden touchdown pass to Terry McLaurin. It's a late 3rd down. Washington is up 5. Nobody wants to give the ball back to Joe Burrow, and Jayden delivers a beauty while getting drilled. A perfect pass to Terry. It felt like his welcome moment. I compare it to the Robert Griffin III touchdown run he broke off to beat the Vikings in 2012. Washington was up 31-26 for both, and the touchdowns essentially put the games away. I got some of the 2012 magic back. That was when I really fell in love with Washington, when I was only 12 years old. It's been a long time waiting for success since, and Jayden has given me hope. The Bengals win was a turning point. The next week was a 28-point win against the Cardinals. Again, the offense couldn't be stopped. It was also a revenge game for Cliff Kingsbury. His offense was so good early in the season. Washington beat the hell out of the Browns in week 5. Deshaun Watson was horrible, as we knew, but Jayden actually had to beat a good defense. The 4-game winning streak ended with a loss to the Ravens in week 6, but it was close. And to be able to keep it tight with a team that good can be a morale win. It proved to me Washington could play with the best. The Commanders destroyed the Panthers 40-7 the next week. I'd argue the offense hasn't been the same since. It took a miracle to beat the Bears. Washington was a better team, but couldn't finish. It was ugly, but it did lead to an all-time moment. The Commanders were down, and on the final play, somehow Jayden Daniels aired it out, and Noah Brown managed to catch the Hail Mary. I'll never forget it, but it shouldn't have been that close. The next week was a win against the Giants, but it wasn't pretty. The Bears and Giants aren't good. Good teams blow out bad teams. The Commanders didn't. Then came 2 straight losses. The Steelers' loss hurt a lot. I thought the Commanders were better. If it wasn't for a late Mike Williams touchdown from Russell Wilson, they probably would have won, but Washington let them hang around too long. The offense couldn't do anything after the first drive of the second half. I felt like Washington should have won. That wasn't the case on Thursday Night Football versus the Eagles. It was tight, and the Commanders made some mistakes, but it seemed obvious to me that Philadelphia was a tier above. Maybe the outcome is different if it's earlier in the season, but it wasn't. Losing 2 straight sucked. Going from 7-2 to 7-4 is rough, but it was against 2 good teams. Going from 7-2 to 7-5 by losing 3 straight, including one to a terrible rival, is gut-wrenching. The Cowboys were supposed to be a get-right opponent, especially at home. Dallas has been awful. Their defense stinks. Dak Prescott is out. There's no good excuse to lose, and yet Washington did. The offense couldn't do enough again. The Cowboys won 34-26, and the score says nothing. It was 10-9 going into the fourth quarter. There were 41 points scored in the fourth quarter, all in the final 8 minutes, 11 seconds. Washington and Dallas only scored a field goal each in the first half, and both had a touchdown in the third quarter, a Jayden Daniels run, and a Jalen Tolbert catch from Cooper Rush. The fourth quarter was, simply put, insane. I'm not sure I've ever seen anything like it. Brandon Aubrey hit a 48-yard field goal, and Luke Schoonmaker had a 22-yard touchdown pass from Rush. The Washington offense decided to wake up, and Zach Ertz scored on a 4-yard pass from Jayden. Jayden got the 2-point conversion, and suddenly it was 20-17, and the Commanders had a chance. Then Kevontae Turpin housed the kickoff after he dropped it at the goal line. Austin Seibert hit a 51-yard field goal, and after forcing a 3-and-out, it happened. Down 7, Jayden hit Terry McLaurin for an 86-yard bomb, and oh my, it was crazy. Seibert missed the extra point. To have that big of a high followed by a low so fast is unexplainable. Well, it felt like the Commanders had tied it, but didn't, and the Cowboys returned the onside kick for a touchdown. That doesn't happen often. Special teams are really the story of the game. Aubrey had a field goal blocked and missed one. He has been so good, so it was definitely a surprise. Seibert hadn't played for 3 weeks because of a hip injury. He missed a 51-yard field goal. I don't understand why Washington didn't go for it in that moment. It was a 4th and 2. He had already missed an extra point, especially after passing the ball on 3rd down. I don't understand the coaching decision there. He missed a second extra point to lose the game later. It was worth considering a 2-point conversion late, but I get why not to. I think I would have decided to kick the extra point myself. It's just a tough way to lose, specifically a tough way to lose a 3rd straight. There are a lot of questions for the Commanders now. It was such a hot start, and the future is good, but falling apart down the stretch is an issue. It's been a Cliff Kingsbury staple. The wonder of if his offense has been figured out already is fair. It was a big narrative when he was the head coach of the Cardinals. Arizona would start off so hot and completely fall apart late in the season. I'd argue even last year it was the case when he was coaching at USC. It's a real concern. It's no secret the narrative around Dan Quinn isn't exactly positive when it comes to late game scenarios. Every young quarterback at some point does get figured out. Some never return to what they once were, but there was even a time the league slowed down Lamar Jackson. Great players find ways to adapt. Jayden has to now. The loss to Dallas opens up a lot of questions, but I'm not even close to panic mode. If you told me Washington would be 7-5 during the offseason, I'd be pretty excited for the future, and I still am. The Commanders have a ton of cap space, and it needs to be used right. I trust Adam Peters to do so. Once some big holes get filled, Washington could be really good. Edge rusher is a problem. The offensive line has issues. I could complain about the secondary for hours, but let's see how it looks with Marshawn Lattimore. And there needs to be a real wide receiver too. Noah Brown isn't exactly a major threat. Teams shut down Terry McLaurin, and that's it. It's still year 1 for Dan Quinn, and Jayden Daniels is a rookie. It's been a messy few weeks, but beat the Titans and figure it out during the bye. The postseason is well in sight, but even then, it's about the future, and it's bright.